হ্যালো। হ্যাঁ স্যার, এদের দুজনকে স্যার আপনাদেরকে মেল করে দিয়েছি, আমাদের সবার মেল আইডি নেই স্যার। হ্যাঁ, ওকে স্যার। হ্যাঁ স্যার, উই আর রেডি। ইয়েস স্যার। হ্যাঁ স্যার, দেখতে পাবেন। গুড ইভিনিং স্যার।
Hello.
Yes sir, you're audible sir.
Oh yeah. Okay. You can see and hear me, right?
Yes sir.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you. Devang, I had a question.
Yes sir.
When my turn comes, I just go onto the PowerPoint window and click on the present now icon.
Yes sir.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes sir.
Devanko, can you
Yes
hear me?
sir.
Okay.
Devanko, am I?
Yes, you're audible. Yes ma'am, you're audible. Respected ma'am and sir, we'll wait for more 5 minutes and then we will begin our session. Excellent, excellent, sir, excellent. Yes, ma'am. Pardon me, sir. Pardon me, ma'am. Just one. Okay, ma'am. If you want, you can, ma'am, give it a try and check it, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. I know. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am. The slide is visible, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's changing.
this field, please keep in mind whether you do PhD or not, you have to have at least 6 to 10 years tenure to success in this to get success in this field. It's more or less like a medical professional, because if you do PhD, it will absolutely take around 9 to 10 years, and if you without PhD join any of the uh, industry, then with the experience you need to grow. You need to show that with hands or with your skills you are at par with a PhD candidate. That will also take time. In my case, this has happened. So I am saying this, that PhD is always a win-win situation in this field, but it is mandate for teaching and academic research. It is not mandate for industries. But if you have, it will be surely added on. Now here I have given a flow chart. What skills need to be developed, or what skills you can develop now in this phase to make yourself industry ready. That is subject knowledge. Knowledge, it is absolutely mandate to survive in this field. Whatever subject you study, whatever subject you have a knack, please go deeper into this so that you can aid in all the troubleshooting, whether you are in research or you are in industry. This subject knowledge is absolutely necessary. And in biopharma sector, it is an intellectually stimulating working platform post academic. So the knowledge is extremely required. The next point is you need to deliver your product, or you need to deliver your data within a stipulated time. So productivity along with the time management is also an important part. So suppose in academic research you have a 5-year scholarship or 5-year stipend. Within that you need to complete your thing. But in industry, what happens? As I have joined industry in a very lesser age, I have seen that suppose you have to run 20 experiments, client have given you 2 weeks time. So within that, you need to troubleshoot, you need to deliver the data properly. So it is very necessary to work under pressure and deliver properly. Then teamwork, adjusting in a team. I think now it's a integral part of an industry, the teamwork. Data interpretation and communication is also very important. As you have observed already, because I think our sirs expose you in lot of paper writing and poster presentations, you have seen that in failed experiment also, in a failed experiment data, you can find lot of things to interpret, lot of things to analyze, to design the next experiment. So that analytical skill or the communication is very important in to survive in this area. And this is actually, I want to end in a positive note that the take home thoughts are, as we are all going through a very challenging phase, sometimes it may come into the mind that what will be our future? It's a very uncertain and we are going on assumptions actually that vaccine will come, things will improve like that. But I am giving one example. Few 2-3 months back, I have come across a video. Some student of, I don't know if it's from HIT or any other institute, have uploaded a video that they are missing the farewell of final year. But if you always keep yourself in negative things or keep this thing in your mind that you are the only sufferer, then you will never be able to go through your career. So first point, you should adhere to your focused career path first. So please don't deviate, please don't go into depression like that, and please don't always think the negative things. How many people are dying? How many people are getting affected, infected? Don't think all those things all the time. So it will affect you immensely. And one more thing I want to mention here, I should have mentioned in earlier slide that during preparing these slides, I have gone through many companies' websites. And I have seen that Thermo Fisher Scientific is a very well-known company. They have their headquarters abroad in US, I think, but they have multiple labs in India where they make kits, ladders, molecular biology, chemicals, and all those. They are now scaling up the COVID-19 detection RT-PCR kit. They used to make it 50,000 kits per week, but now they are scaling up that in to 10 million kits per week. So they have recruited a huge amount of freshers and the biotechnology personnel. So this is a very positive part. So these positive things you have to find out through net search or through journal reading, everything, because updation in this field every day. Few things get updated. So you have to be updated and have to adhere with your focused career path. Please emphasize on your in-depth knowledge, because now you are at home, you have internet connection and you can glide through all the relevant journals and all those things. Please emphasize on in-depth knowledge. You can do it by reading books or reading journals, anything. It will be very much required when you will be called for interviews and all. Then participate in online seminars, posters, and paper presentations. Colleges and universities will be very soon arranging these things because things are going in that way only. So please participate in those things and get yourself equipped with the knowledge. Keep a strong vigil on the company website, which is very important. And as there is limitations in going outhouse project work, like many institutes are not allowing out students, so you have to take more part in these seminars, online seminars, paper presentations, all these things. And please get accustomed, you are already accustomed, I think, with these internet-based exams and interviews. And here I want to mention that in biotechnology industries, here is a fusion of corporate culture and application-based research, which is a very exciting blend. And I want to give two very positive examples, which I have come through in this phase. One of our students, she actually got training under my husband in our lab. She is a bachelor. She has done bachelor's from SRM University. She got a master degree chance in a Sweden university with full scholarship in this COVID phase. And they have provided her flight tickets. They have arranged for their COVID test, everything. She has gone there and joined the university in just 2 weeks back. This is one example, and another is among my friend circle and other companies' colleagues. They are switching jobs in this phase. Many companies are hiring if you can prove that you have potentials in you. So post-COVID, so I want to conclude that post-COVID era is not at all a win-win situation, I know, but it is not a depressing one too. So all together, let's start with a very positive attitude, which will help us in future. I would like to thank again all their teachers who helped me a lot. Shubhama ma'am, Sudeep sir, Siraj sir, Mukesh sir, all my beloved sirs and madam. I would like to mention Nandan sir's name also because for him only my career path got determined in this way. And whatever I am now is for my teachers, my parents. For childhood, I have got a very academic atmosphere at my home. I'm very proud of my sister who is an intern in NRS Medical College, Kolkata. She is actually a COVID warrior and she is working very hard for the COVID patients. My in-laws, my husband, who is my colleague also, he helped me a lot during these presentations and all. And also my kid who is in class preparatory and he's also helping us a lot to carry out in this uh, challenging phase. And one thing I want to mention, whenever you college students are getting depressed or getting down, please remember that only you are the not one who are facing this challenging phase. The school students are suffering immensely, especially the children who learn with their teachers and friends. They are also suffering, but they are trying to accustomed with this thing and they are trying to go ahead. So I'm sure if I can aid to your future career with my points and all those things, you have to be vigilant. You have to get your in-depth knowledge. You have to accustomed with this online things now because you are among those fortunate who are getting chance to get these online things because there are children, there are students who cannot afford Wi-Fi, cannot afford even the mobile. So you are quite lucky that you are going to have these things. So let's start with a positive attitude and glide through this challenging phase for a brighter future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we would have a question answer session at the end of after all of you complete your speeches. Now we would move on to our next speaker for this evening, Dr. Shubham Chakraborty, sir. Sir?
Just confirming that you can see and hear me.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you for the invitation. My heartfelt regards to my beloved teachers at HIT who have paved the path for me to pursue education and then an industry career and now an academic teaching career. My heartfelt regards and thank you for this invitation for participating in this webinar. Let me go to the... So you can see my screen. May I just confirm that you can see my screen?
Sir, not yet.
So once you can see my screen, kindly confirm.
Yes, I will let you know.
Can you now?
No, sir.
No, I can't.
No, sir, your screen isn't visible yet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Thank
Now
you.
it is.
So thank you so much. I'll just give a few sentences about my background, which will kind of consolidate about the perspectives that I'm going to share today. Upon completing the 4-year biotechnology BTech program at this department, I moved out to the United States in fall 2011 to pursue a PhD at the joint campus of Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis. And I stayed there till the end of 2017 to get a PhD in biology and specializing in microbiology and host pathogen interactions. Followed by this, I went to the University of Louisville Medical School for a postdoctoral tenure on Plasmodium host pathogen interactions in malaria. And then I moved into Canada for getting further postdoctoral training in bacterial RNA biology. After this, I came back to India at the beginning of this year, and I took up this position as a medical writer at Cactus Communication, which is a bioservice sector industry in India. And I recently quit this job to accept my current position as assistant professor at Vijayabhumi University. So in this webinar, I would try to present my perspective on 2 aspects. One, what are the unique opportunities in spite of the ongoing pandemic in the biotechnology sector, and how a BTech or a MTech program prepares you for harnessing these opportunities both in the industry and in academia. So I'll start by giving a little bit about the industry sector globally in this field, biotechnology. As you can see, this data which I have borrowed from Nature Biotechnology, this article came out in 2020, both in the amounts raised in terms of venture capitalist investments, as well as the number of financings. The graph is steadily increasing from 2010 to 2019, and leading business analysts are predicting that this curve would continue to increase till 2024-25. If you see the IPO numbers, initial public offerings, again, it is kind of having a gross upward trend globally in terms of the biotech industry. If you see 3 superpowers, China, United States, and Europe, grossly they have a positive trend in terms of amounts raised, in terms of investment for the biotech sector. And again, this data, I'm grateful for Nature Biotechnology to share with you. So the biotech sector is a consolidated and a steadily growing sector, in notwithstanding the COVID scenario, because all this data is till 2019, 2018. And with this current pandemic, this is supposed to increase further as we go for a mad global scramble for a COVID vaccine and other therapeutic treatment options and detection kits, etc. So one complaint I continually hear that though there is a biotech boom in superpowers in developed countries, in India we still have a lag. In the biotech sector, it's not well developed. On the contrary, I'll just share some data to show that there has been a steady compound annual growth rate of 20.33%, which shows a very steady and healthy growth in terms of investments. From 2005 to 2017, the data shows that. And it's almost a 11.6 billion investment, which is very healthy even in the Indian market. The market is also diversified, which is also another good sign because we have biopharma, we have bioservice sector, of which I was a part, as I've said, which has like clinical research organizations, writing sectors, other kind of service things like communication, research needs, things which are not directly involved in research, but they feed into the research sector. Then we have bioagriculture, the food biotechnology, the agriculture biotechnology, the GMO crops, the GMO fish, the different kinds of poultry, these kind of things. We have other kinds of industries like petrochemicals. We have the superpower Reliance getting into life sciences. That's a big example in this sector. And we have bioinformatics and these kind of para services sectors like RNA-seq based helpings, proteomics helpings, mass spec helpings, these kind of things. So that's the scenario in India, and not very surprising that because of these kind of healthy trends, the CAGR is supposed to grow even further from 20.33% to almost over 30% over the next few years. As this data says, that from 64 billion, it's supposed to go to 150 billion by 2024-25, just in the Indian market. India already, in fact, is the 12th largest biotech market in the world and third in Asia Pacific, which is not a matter of joke because we've got superpowers, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, Singapore. In spite of that, India proudly holds the third position in the Asia Pacific scenario. Post-COVID, and even before that, the stock prices continue to rise. You see the stock prices of Sun Pharma, R&Ds, Dr. Reddy's, Biocon, Serum Institute of India. They are all very healthily rising, which again show that this sector is indeed a good one for young talents to pursue their careers. And the other thing is, leading enterprises, you name it, Tata, you name Reliance, Birla, L&T Infotech, they are all now venturing into the bioscience sector. We've got TCS investing in the medical science industry. In fact, TCS is one of the potent competitors of the company I used to work for. Reliance is full-time into life science R&Ds. They are also venturing into medical science writing. We've got other big players also coming in. So that's also a very healthy sector, healthy sign as far as the Indian sector, Indian scenario for the biotech sector is concerned. Just confirming that you can see my slides and hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So now having established that the industry scenario is in fact not grim at all, in fact it's pretty good in the global and in the Indian context, the second thing that I want to touch base is how does a BTech or a MTech program, as opposed to a basic science BSc or MSc integrated MSc program in biotechnology help exploit both the industry opportunities as I have talked, as well as the academic opportunities I'll talk later in my slide. So here I would be grateful to my current institution, Vijay Bhumi University, which is the Greater Mumbai campus of IFIM Business School, because they did this study with the National Human Resource Development Organization of India to find out what are the industry unmet needs in India and how these gaps can be consolidated. And the bigger picture that came out is this, that for a successful industry professional, we need a deep generalist rather than a specialist. And this can only be facilitated by a technical degree, as I'll explain. What does this mean? I'll just explain. We need what we call a T-shaped profession. As we know, like a T has a horizontal bar and it has a vertical bar. The horizontal bar is shown here, which talks about liberal general courses like general education, English, mathematics, physics, chemistry, these kind of courses. Cross-functional subjects like database analytics, mechanical sciences, electrical sciences, bioinformatics sciences, computer sciences, these kind of cross-functional pedagogic environments. Essential skills, which are called soft skills in the yesteryears, how you present, how you talk, how you carry yourself, how you sell yourself, these kind of things. How you nurture and adapt your emotional intelligence to a more and more trying industry scenario. And whether you are immersed in technology, whether you are adept at harnessing cloud computing, being a social media citizen, responsibly using technology to your benefit. So that's the horizontal T bar, which makes you a generalized professional. And this bar is in general absent from a typical BSc, MSc curriculum, wherein they straight get into the vertical bar of the T, which gets you a deep context in the subject matter expertise. For example, if we consider a BTech or a MTech pedagogy, in the first couple of years, we engage in these kind of general subjects wherein we venture into different kind of cross-functional environments and do two things. One, do a self-discovery, really understand whether we really want to pursue biological sciences, or we want to pursue chemical sciences, or we want to pursue analytics, data analytics, computer sciences, these kind of things, business, these kind of things. And then slowly decide that, yes, this is what we are wanting to do. And towards the senior years of the degree, second year onwards, we step into first the major subjects like biochemistry, microbiology, immunology, so on. Get into minor subjects like bioprocess engineering, these kind of things. And then finally end the program with a super specialization, research immersive project work, which gives us the subject matter expertise. So this is the T shape I was talking about. And this is what the current industry requires. This study is further bolstered by the fact that this is in alignment with the current new education policy formulated by the Modi government. And I'm specifically quoting like specific terms from the PDF, that it has to be student specific, again, self-discovery and letting the student realize his or her strength areas where he wants to adapt and blossom further. A lot of flexibility. It is multidisciplinary. It is holistic, because it's not only studying, it is also learning life skills, because in a global world, today you are in Calcutta, you might be in Madras tomorrow, you might be in Massachusetts the day after. And the next year you will be in Melbourne. So you also need to know to cook for yourself, to fend for yourself, to do groceries yourself. And in these kind of deeply campus living kind of courses, these things are facilitated. Then the power of soft skills, life skills, as I've talked about. Then these kind of T-shaped courses, like a Bachelor Technology or Master of Technology program, they have regular assessments as opposed to end semester or end year cumulative assessment, which kind of is unfair, because if the student has a bad day, is sick, then it's kind of like it's not very reflective on the general preparation of the student. This is light but tight, because it's kind of held together, but it's also gives a lot of flexibility in terms of its architecture. And as I said, you need to be integrated in data communication, because data is the new oil, and you need to be immersed in current technology. So that's what are the needs of the industry, and this is where a BTech or a MTech program stands out as opposed to a BSc, MSc general program in biotechnology. And nothing is as successful as success, and whether this program or architecture is good enough is testified by the fact that the program at HIT has continually produced successful industry people like Sumedha, who are leading business people, industry people in the biotech R&Ds. I myself have served the bioservice industries along with other people. I was in research along with many others. I am now transiting to education. We've got like senior alumni who are faculty members at IITs, NITs, and so on. We've got a very bright senior, just one batch ahead of me. She's a scientific funding manager at Ashoka University. So we've also produced these kind of multifaceted biotech professionals, and also in scientific sales, if someone is interested in the business side of things. And also, if someone is not very keen on the vertical subject matter expertise area, we've got very many seniors and my batchmates and juniors who have transited out based on the general overall branching, the flexible part of it, the horizontal part of the T, as successful IT professionals who have later taken up managerial positions at prestigious companies, people who are banking officers in nationalized banks, people who are WBCS and IAS officers now, and all of this cumulates to 100% placement and professional success rate, which is remarkable for the department, and I'm really proud of it being my alma mater. The second part I'll touch upon here is how this program is also suited for higher education. And again, I would talk about the T-shaped program, and I would change it a little bit. As you see, I'm talking about specific subjects now, because we are talking about education and higher academics at this point. we've got subjects like informatics and programming, business economics, business ethics, like as simple or as complicated as maintaining a business ledger, specific courses on communication skills. In fact, at HIT, I learned the basics of PowerPoint presentation, which helped me a long way even during my PhD in the United States. Then we learn a whole lot about engineering subjects, and I've got many senior alumni in the United States who have actually ventured out from biotechnology into chemical engineering, nanotechnology, these kind of engineering professional avenues. And all of this was paved by this general horizontal bar that they were fortunately exposed to during the BTech program. And these kind of programs very often and very typically at Haldia, we have a professional nurturing program wherein faculty continually counsel the students regarding what they want to do, again in the path of self-discovery, and how it can be facilitated. And this part broadens the base for delving into the subject matter expertise. And again, this program has a lot of time for gaining subject matter expertise, because we covered basic subjects like biochemistry, microbiology, immunology in my rudimentary years, and then progressed on to advanced subjects, and finally completed the degree with research immersion. Now, why this has some unique advantages in terms of the higher education sphere is because, one, if you want to pursue higher education in a foreign country like United States or Canada, this kind of an architecture in pedagogy is very aligned with the US system. For example, I was just having a conversation with my dean business in my current university, and he was telling, in the United States, a student cannot even declare the major in a BBA before completing 2 years of liberal arts education. So that's very important. The same thing I saw in my biology department. You cannot declare your major in the undergraduate years unless you complete 2 years of a holistic general curriculum like this. And since a person like me who was exposed to this kind of an architecture right in my undergraduate, I didn't feel out of place when I went to my PhD. Even in my PhD, I didn't start right into my PhD project. I went through 4 or 5 labs where I rotated. It was a multifaceted program. I did rotations in DNA repair, cancer biology, proteomics, proteosome engineering, and then I finally thought that yes, microbial pathogenesis, bacterial molecular biology is something that I want to pursue long term. Then there is a timeline advantage because a BTech program is 4 years, which is suitable and appropriate and enough for a US MS or a PhD degree, as opposed to a 5-year BSc, MSc, 3+2 or an integrated MSc, 5 years. So you gain 1 year, which you can use later. So you gain 1 year in terms of your peers. And then we have a rich heritage of alumni at international academic positions who also counsel. As I said, there is a professional nurturing program, and also they help like in your applications because HITians and other people from these kind of courses have already set a footprint in prestigious US schools. And it's not surprising that we've got alumni in very many prestigious US schools. My wife and I, we are Purdue graduates. I know people who would be speaking later in the series, I suppose, from Arizona State University. We've got a senior at Columbia, people who have graduated from SUNY, people who are postdocs at Colorado Boulder, University of Leh, a very worthy senior who is a virologist at NIH, University of Georgia, and also people who have gone on to take prestigious research positions at IITs, NITs, NBRC, ICERs, and so on. So I have some concluding perspectives. I started saying that I have 2 major take-home messages to give. That despite the COVID scenario, there is a huge potential of the biotech sector globally and in India, because the growth rate is very healthy. It is very diversified, and diversification is a key testimony for the healthiness of a sector. And the situation is supposed to even be better post-COVID because there are more investments in the pharma sector, in the detection sector, and so on. And there are unmet needs of the healthcare sector, despite the pharma being kind of strong, and that will pave the path for this industry to grow further, both globally and in India. And the technical degree caters to the needs of the industry and also academia because of the unique T-shaped pedagogy and because it's aligned with the new education policies that the government has formulated. I end by thanking my current university, Vijay Bhumi, which is the first liberal professional university in India. I got a robust perspective of the T-shaped pedagogy from my vice chancellor. It's kind of funny because I experienced the benefits of this kind of a teaching architecture both in my undergraduate BTech as well as my PhD. But he was the one who actually showed me on paper that this is bolstered by surveys and data speaks for itself. I'm very grateful for that insight and the permission to share that data with you guys here. I'm very thankful to my US years, which has consolidated upon the things that I picked up in India. A big thank you to your biotech fraternity at Haldia for one, giving me this opportunity and for continuing the success that you've produced year after year. Whatever little I've achieved in my life, it is due to the journey that I've started at this department. Right from learning how to present, to streaking on an agar plate, the basics of cell culture, the basics of cloning, it's here that I've picked up from very reverend faculty, and whatever I achieve in my life or whatever little I've achieved with very folded hands from the core of my heart, I thank the faculty at Haldia. And with that, I thank all of you for your time, and I would be happy to take any questions and suggestions I can now end.
Sir, the questions we would be taking them after all the speakers have spoken. So that time, if there's any questions, we will ask you. And now we would move on to our next speaker. Finally, last but not the least, we have Dr. Shubhashish Thakur, sir, as our next speaker for this evening. Sir?
Hello?
Yes, sir, you can start, sir.
Can you hear me, Ashma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wait. Just for confirmation, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. Good evening to all of you. Myself, Dr. Shubhashish Thakur. I am currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Biotechnology, Haldia Institute of Technology. And this is my immense pleasure that to present the potential prospects of BTech and MTech in biotechnology in the post-COVID-19 era. I am very much thankful to my previous two speakers, Shumilda and Dr. Shubham Chakraborty. They have already covered a lot about the biotechnology and its prospects and whatever the new challenges and opportunities in the biotechnology field in the new COVID-19 or after the post-COVID-19 era. So I will generalize some of the things related to this, and then I will give you some introduction about our department and as well as the opportunities also. So first of all is the joy of learning. Whenever you learn something new, whatever it is, any engineering discipline, it may be mechanical engineering, it may be chemical engineering, it may be biotechnology, computer science, everywhere there is a joy of learning because you are learning something new after 2 or 3 years, sometimes in the microbiology or biochemistry lab, you are extracting the DNA and holding in your hand, and you must be very much joyful that, oh, see that this is the DNA, this belongs to my body. But apart from this, there is a very successful and important aspect is the job. At the end of the day, when you are going to sleep at night, you should be very much thankful that at the end of the month, your salary is credited. Okay, so this is very much important aspect of every engineering background, of every scientific and research background, as well as it may be the professor field, it may be the research scientist field, that the job satisfaction. So the joy of learning and job satisfaction both are equally important to be a successful human being. Now, in the 2020 beginning, there is a gift which is from China, I should say, to all over the world, that this is the COVID-19 virus. And due to this COVID-19 virus, I have taken this data from the website Statistica, that from this 134 crore of Indian people, around 27% of the Indian people has already lost their jobs in May 10, and still it is going. And if you click in each of the points, you can see that these are from the transportation sector, from this merchandise sector, you can start from hotel business to tourism business to the transportation business, from Hyundai to Honda. Everywhere there is a drastic sacking of the jobs. So whenever this situation comes, only one field that is still prospective and making new job opportunities for the freshers, graduates, as well as the PhD. And this is the field of technology as well as the pharmaceutical sector. You can see that 2008 to 2020, this is the data that is very I have taken yesterday, that the value of pharmaceutical export from India to the all over the world is increasing day by day, year to year. Around 2020, it has already reached around nearby 20 billion US dollars. So you can see there is a steep polarization of this biotechnology as well as the pharmaceutical companies and the fields which are still producing new concepts, new jobs, new business opportunities for the freshers and graduates. Though every company, there are many companies who are claiming that they have already established the vaccines for this COVID-19 virus, but it is not, still now it is not marketable. Okay, so we should not wait for the when it will end, we don't know. We have to carry out our education as well as our daily work, taking COVID-19 with us. So you have to choose your career path is very wisely, that after 10 to 5 years or after the near future, what will be what are the prospects of the business or the career opportunities. So there is I can see from the yesterday and this internet study that there is numerous prospects of biotechnology and pharmaceutical sectors in the post-COVID-19 era. So whatever you choose for your next step, whenever you start your next life, you should choose wisely. This is the total combination of biotechnology fields, which is nothing but the marriage between the biology with the technology. This has numerous aspects, from the agriculture to nutrition, from healthcare to industry, from environment to marine, from bioinformatics to law. This is an interdisciplinary subject. If you learn biotechnology, you can opt any of the disciplines that are mentioned in this slide. Not only this, There are some career trajectory of the biotech students after the BTechs and MTechs. You can be microbiologist, biochemist, you can be scientific writer, you can be chemical and bioprocess engineers, you can be product development scientist, as well as the regulatory affairs or pharmacovigilance scientist. If you choose any of the field after this BTech or MTech, then there is a huge success. Only one or two information I am going to share, that this among this data scientist field, if you go to IIT Chennai website, the first online degree in India as well as in the world, they have started in the data science. This data science, they are claiming that more than 3 crore jobs that will generate within 1 to 2 years in this data scientist field. And I have the personal experience of, I went to IIT Chennai last year and I have taken this course, data science. And this is a very interdisciplinary course. This is totally based on the biostatistics, computational biology, as well as the bioinformatics. You can opt for this course, and there is a very huge startup opportunity. Already there are numerous startups based on this data science, and last year they have offered one graduate of data science 1 lakh rupees salary per month. So this is a very huge perspective of data science, as bioinformatics is a part of this biotechnology background. So you can wisely choose this field. Apart from this bioinformatics, microbiologist, there is a very huge prospects in the virology field. So this is the empirical picture of the COVID-19 virus. After this COVID-19 breakout and before this COVID-19 breakout, the virology field, there is a huge opportunity to work with. And then again, the immunology, you can be a successful immunologist if you learn this biotechnology. Another one thing is the molecular biology. It's a very opportunity field. Then biostatistics, because I have already said that biotechnology is the interdisciplinary field. If you are very much keen interest to the mathematics, you can go for this biostatistics and genetic engineering. There is a huge potential of this subject. And overall, there is another one thing I should mention, that is patent attorney, because whatever new thing you new product you develop, new process you develop by doing the biotechnology, you have the right to patent it. Okay, so during the patenting, the patent attorney, there is a huge prospect of biotechnology. You can be a patent agent or patent lawyer. So this is a very much interdisciplinary field, and you can opt the biotechnology as your future perspective. Now moving to the next slide. Last few days or last few months, I have received numerous calls from the biotech aspirants and +2 students from different schools in West Bengal as well as all over India. They call me and they ask me, sir, what is the prospects of biotechnology? What is the prospects of your department? So I am thinking that I should give them one overall view of the Department of Biotechnology, Health Technology, and that after this slide presentation, you will get to know what are the prospects of biotechnology, what are the job prospects, what are the pay packages, what are the companies that they are hiring, and all. So starting from this biotechnology department background, I should say that this is the picture of HIT Haldia. It is established in 1996, and this is the self-financed and oldest and largest private engineering college in West Bengal. And I should say that after Jadavpur University, this is the only one college which is the highest amount of admission. Now our total student strength is around 4,600 UG. And going to the biotechnology department, this is established in 2001, and late 2001 and 2002. It has around 19 years of experience faculties as well as the technical staff. And if you click on this link, you can directly go through the biotechnology department. You can see whatever the instruments and whatever the placement status is available. And obviously, I am proudly say that this is the NBA accredited department from last 3 years, 2017 to 2020, and this year also I am very much thankful to the government that we have also received the NBA accreditation from Government of India. And regarding this NBA accreditation, I should say that this is now mandatory according to the AICTE rules, that to run any undergraduate degree course, the department should be NBA accredited. And if you join this department, you are very much fortunate that you will pass out from an NBA accredited department. So this is our program of study. As we have the UG courses as well as the PG courses. The total seat is around 60 for the UG, and 10 to 18 seats are reserved for the PG courses. And our department is accredited by the NBA for this year also, 2020 to 2023. And these are the different labs of our department. We have around 14 labs dedicated for the research, starting from the molecular biology to plant biotechnology to fermentation technology to genetic engineering and bioinformatics. We have all the facilities and amenities available for this lab, and it's a successful department, is running last 19 years. And these are the some major instruments which is available in our department, and these are for the high-end research purpose. You can see that these are bioreactors and confocal, this microscope, fluorescence microscope, animal cell culture facility, and PCR facility. Everything is available in our department, and this is a compact department which is already produced many BTech graduates and postgraduates as well as the PhD. I am very much thankful, and this is very much enjoyable for us that as a private engineering college, we are producing more than 17 PhD students till now. This is very much commendable. This is the biotechnology departmental library. In our library, we have around 380 books, 228 ebooks available, and e-copy of GATE and NET questions for last 20 years, and NPTEL video of biotechnology, all the subjects. And they are the extramural funded R&D projects. I should proudly say that our Department of Biotechnology is one of the highest departments in HIT, which is currently holding more than 6 crore of rupees extramural R&D projects. And these projects, many students have already registered themselves for the PhD program and under this project. These are the coming to the student performance, and you can see that that students are not deprived from their achievements. They are doing their work in BTech, and they are publishing their work in internationally reputed journals. And 2017, 18, and 19, there are many journals have been published by the BTech graduate students and based on their project work, and this is very much commendable. The impact factor of some of the journals are around 4.5, which is very much higher for as a BTech graduate. And this is very much achievement for our department, that every year our department has taken many NPTEL courses from by the BTech graduates, and this is, you can see that there are 6 students have already elite plus gold topper, and these elite gold topper, these students have already directly can take chance in the IITs as their summer intern. So this is very much commendable job for our students. And 2018, 19, 20, every year more than 5 or 6 students, they are getting their research internship on the basis of these NPTEL courses. And another one very important aspect is our former head, Professor Shiraj Dutta sir. He is now the SPOC of the total Haldia chapter. And the students of biotechnology department as well as all the departments for 14 engineering courses can come and be contact with sir regarding the NPTEL courses, and he is conducting the total this NPTEL video webinar series. So coming to the placement from 2008 to 2019 data, this is, you can see in the graph, we have around more than or up to 100% placement in each and every year. You can see from software to core to higher studies and others, every area the students are in equally getting their job opportunities. And this is up to 2019 data. This 2020 data, this is in the separate. You can see we have that 10 students who are the gate rank holders, and among them there are 168, 310, and 393 rank holders from our department. They are getting their chance in the rank holder of 168. He got the chance in 4 IITs. Now he has opted for IIT Chennai for his MTech Biotechnology and Chemical Engineering programs. And myself, I have also cleared GATE in 2010, and my rank was around 200 all India and 98.89 percentile. And I am very much thankful to the teachers, because I am the graduate student of this biotechnology department of Haldia Institute of Technology. And I am very much thankful to the teachers also, and for their regular guidance. And regarding software, Infosys and Wipro, they are around 15 students. They have achieved their call letters from this Infosys or Wipro, and the core sector and others, there are 20 students have already placed. They are the major recruiters of our department is Wipro, Infosys, GCC Biotech, Comas Biotech, Biocon, Nestle, and Accenture, and many another one companies like Serum Institute. Also, we have many students, our postgraduate students, they are doing their interns in the Serum Institute, and there is a possibility that if you do the internship in after the post-graduation, during the post-graduation in any reputed companies, there is a chance of hiring in the or absorbed in that companies. So this is also another one advantage. And this is the industrial visit. Some of the pictures of industrial visit of the BTech graduate students. Every year we are arranging some industrial visits for our undergraduate students. They are going to some nearby industries, and they are whole day they are spending there, and they are getting some contacts with all the industrialists, and all the questions are answered there. And some of them are getting the internship offers from the industry. This is the Indorama industry. Now it is known as the Tata Chemicals. And last year 2020 February, we went to IOCL Haldia. There is a numerous opportunities for the biotechnologists in the IOCL Haldia plant. There is a biofiltration unit. We have seen that unit, and there is a chance of biotechnologists after undergraduate and postgraduate. And this is another one important thing of our department is the mentoring facility. All the students, around 20 or less than 20 students in a group, they are assigned to a mentor, and they are sharing their views about the classes and their personal and professional problems. And all the mentors are taking care of each and every student as their local guardian and try to solve the problem. This is another one very much important aspect of our department. And as I have already said, that more than 40 students are already completed their PhD, and some of them are now pursuing PhD in the biotechnology department. As a private engineering college, it is very much obvious and very much important that we are producing the PhD holders, where NITs and IITs are producing the PhD holders. We are giving the PhD degree, and they are very much enjoying their work environment in our lab. And these are some of the distinguished alumni from the academics, batch 2005 and 2006, 8, and 9. They are all over the world. They are getting the opportunities, and each and every year we are arranging some webinars, and some of time before post-COVID-19 era, post-COVID-19 era, we have arranged the seminars also. They are our prestigious alumni, and they are directly interacting with the students during the seminar. And some students also got their opportunities as a PhD researcher in the outside India. These are the distinguished alumni in the industry. You can see that Syngene, Biocon, Reliance, Oracle, Sanofi, Lupin, everywhere our alumni are present. they can directly they are giving the or they are updating our teachers and the students about the new opportunities as well as the any openings in the company. So there is very much important aspects for our department also. And thank you for listening. And I am happy to help to answer the queries. And if you have any queries, you can post to this my mail ID as well as the contact number. Thank you, and I am very much thankful to the department for giving me the opportunity to carry out this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now coming to the question and answers. Well, since we have 3 speakers, we have questions for each one of you. And first, I would take the questions up with Shumida ma'am. Ma'am, are you here?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Okay. So the question, I'll give you the questions and you answer one by one, okay? The first question is, there's someone who's asked, I am a biotechnology fresher, how can I utilize this lockdown?
Okay. I have actually mentioned that in my slides that now there is less opportunity for hands-on training, go outside and do the lab work for the students. So you should participate in this type of webinars where you can come to know about the opportunities which will come after this phase subsides. Also, you should read journals, keep vigil on the company website as well as all other research institute websites, because I have come across that many centralized institutes are calling for final year students for their admissions and all the processes will be online. So as you are a BTech student and you are at the end of your course, so you should keep up all these things and have a strong vigil at what is going on with all the research institutes and in companies. I actually personally suggest that after BTech you should not join the industry. Please complete your MTech and other things. For that reason, you have to crack the entrances for the colleges or the examinations for individual universities. Please keep vigil on those things, because in one of the few groups I have seen that people are sharing that there are admissions notice and all those things. Maybe all those things will be online. You have to be habituated with the online exams and all. Please, as I have mentioned in my slides, also Shubham and Shubhashish also have emphasized that in-depth knowledge is very much required to survive in this field. So this is the time when you can actually get the knowledge. That's
Okay,
it.
ma'am. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I hope people will actually take this seriously and start working and reading the journals, because
Yes.
that is the best we can do, right, to keep ourselves
Exactly.
updated.
Exactly.
Okay. So the next question is, COVID-19 pandemic really demotivates the recent graduate. I am also a recent graduate in the field of biotech. How can I cheer up myself in this demotivating situation?
Okay, the same thing I have given two examples. I am reiterating those. Very recently, I have trained one. Actually, we both me and my husband have trained one trainee in our company. This is a pre-COVID phase. She got training, and she got a postgraduate admission in a Sweden university with full scholarship. She was an extremely bright student from SRM University, Chennai. She kept trying in this phase for scholarship and all those things. She had very good project work in other institutes also. So this is a very good example that if you can prove your already done project work, and if you can justify yourself that you have quite a good knowledge about this field, there will be opportunities for you. And again, I am telling that you are actually in the more brighter side, because you are doing as Shubham and Shubhashish also have explained, that according to, in comparison with the other field, biotechnology is in a win-win situation. So please don't get demotivated. And again, I am telling the college students who are more matured are in the brighter side than the school students, because I have a toddler at home. Maybe the other parents are also be accordance with me, because school students are suffering a lot because they are less matured, Their parents are working from home. For us, I'm just, to the question who have asked this, this is especially for him or her, that we both have to go out during the whole lockdown because our company need to run with 20 to 30% employee. As we have personal vehicle and we stay nearby our company, so we were the person who need to go out in the whole lockdown to run our essays and to keep our running clients on, because if you don't deliver the data, your clients will be gone. So to keep up the lab work on, we both need to go out. So our son, who is a toddler, who is in preschool, he need to adjust with this situation from the beginning. So please don't get demotivated during this phase, and please find yourself lucky that you can afford all these online things, all these online resources, which is now very much upcoming, that you have to utilize these online resources for your education, for your exams, for your interviews. And for your kind information, please, Indian companies are also taking online interviews for recruitment, because they have to relax their regulations or those things. Online interviews are going on, online paper presentations are going on. Please don't get demotivated, and maybe maybe we will be in a slow pace, we will be going in a slow pace, but please don't get demotivated. There will be ways, because already it has been explained, Shubham and Shubhash's presentation, that there are a lot of scopes, lot of investments will be in virology, bacteriology, as in dry lab based subjects also, like bioinformatics, data science and all those things. Please try to concentrate on those parts which are dry lab based, which you can work from home or work by online delivering. So try to delve into this type of fields. This is my suggestion actually.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Like, this is the insight that every student is looking up for now, because everyone, like the ones who are passing out and ones who are sort of on the threshold of getting into college and the ones who are at the threshold of getting out of college, both
Exactly.
are
Actually, the
affected by
problem
this.
is the situation is very demotivating. Okay, situation will provoke you to get demotivated. That is the most important part. But you should not, because there is one more positive thing I should mention, that I have come across many of my IT friends that they have gone. Increment is not happening to any of the companies this year. That is a separate part, but there are many of my IT friends and IT colleagues who are having pay slash and job cuts also. But in the biologic industries, biotechnology industries, in our company also, there is no pay slash at all, because we were able to carry out our work during the whole lockdown phase. We were in the exemption list because we reside under the IT enabled services and data delivery pharmaceutical services. So under these essential services, we have carried out our work during the lockdown. So there was no pay slash at all. And though we are very much exposed to outside, and we are working with very prone to this, inclined to all this exposure and all those things. But still, at the end of the day, as Shubhashish reiterated, I am reiterating actually his words, that at the end of the day or at the end of the month, you should get the salary. Otherwise, everything will be shattered. I have come across in the newspaper that one of the migrant workers told that mm, uh, for after the food, from the food, the corona is okay. If I get corona but I don't get food, that will not occur. So for us also, that we are going outside for food only, for getting salary at the end of the month to make our family happy. For that reason, so at the end of the day, you must be happy. Must be motivated, and you have to get your salary. So for that reason, there is no chance of getting demotivated for the final year students and for the college goer students also, that please make yourself motivated and utilize this phase for gaining your in-depth knowledge and hone other skills what I have mentioned.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, staying headstrong in this situation, and like these things, as you said, that still not getting a pay cut and facing the danger, like taking the risk of stepping out every day. So the ones sitting at home are so fortunate. They should actually realize how fortunate they are, how lucky they are. Okay, thank you, ma'am. That was all for the questions for you. Next up, we have questions for Shubham, sir. Sir?
Yes, I'm there. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. So, sir, the first question for you is in my opinion, biotechnology is a lab based subject. In this pandemic situation, how can I get the opportunities in this lab sector?
So, biotechnology is a lab-based subject. What's the last part of it?
What is the opportunity that one can get in this sector, like, in the lab sector, like when someone is
Right.
going to work there, or
Right.
aspiring to work in the lab? So what is the scope right now given this situation?
Right. So the scope is multifaceted, starting from immunology, obviously, because there's a scramble for the vaccine. So all the vaccines that are coming out, they have a fundamental basis in the subject of immunology. So that's one part of it. In molecular diagnostics, which is qRT-PCR of the viral RNA. So again, that's another molecular biology, recombinant DNA technology, PCR, that kind of aspect is there. I would say there is a lot of protein biochemistry going on. Maybe it is not hitting the headlines that much, but all the recombinant enzymes or all the recombinant vaccines that come out, it's basically an architecture or a manipulation of the protein backbone. So again, in the biochemistry labs, there is a huge potential. So anything you do in the biotechnology sector, as long as it is not a dry data driven kind of an enterprise like bioinformatics or biostatistics, everything is wet lab based. In fact, I would think this sector is 60 to 70% or maybe even 80% wet lab based.
Okay, sir. All right, moving on to the next question is, sir, can you please discuss the area of field of nanoparticles and how much it has progressed against, what is its contribution against the COVID-19? Like how is it being used in the COVID-19 era?
So this is I would think a pretty uncharted territory. Nanoparticles have had their kind of excitement in multiple domains, starting from infectious diseases, autoimmune diseases, cancer biology, and now COVID. But if you see like the current research going on, they are not, unfortunately, in the forefront of the fight against COVID. It's still monoclonal antibodies. So I mean, I wouldn't be very hopeful or optimistic that a nanoparticle would be combating the COVID scenario, though it is still in the pipeline, but that's not a 4-4 runner in my opinion.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. That is all from the audience. Questions for you. Moving on to Shubhashi, sir. Sir, the questions. Sir, are you there, Shubhashi, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So the question for you is it very important to appear for MTech degree if I want to pursue my career in biotechnology? Yeah.
See, you can relate it with the pyramid. You know the structure of pyramid. From the base to the upper side, there is a sink. So if you do BTech, you have the opportunities in software field, in industry field, as well as in the PhD field. Some cases PhD field if you crack GRE or in IICR or IIT. And if you go for MTech, and there is a mass specialization of the biotechnology. If you love biotechnology, you should do MTech. After MTech, there are numerous opportunities because you should be just specialized in some of your research area like bioprocess engineering or bioinformatics or molecular biology. You have the hands-on experience, greater hands-on experience in MTech, because in BTech, in many of the graduate colleges in BTech, they are doing the project in a group, 2 or 3 students. But in MTech, you have to carry out your project was as an individual postgraduate student. And after MTech, you can directly get the opportunity for the assistant professorship in any degree engineering colleges. If they don't offer for the PhD, then you are directly eligible for the assistant professorship. And regarding the research internship, in after MTech, actually the industrial field they are mainly prefers the MTech as a research intern because they are more research oriented and hands-on practice. Okay.
Okay, so sir, another question is linked to this question. There is someone else who has asked, which degree is better, MS or MTech? Like after
See,
BTech?
after BTech, obviously it is MTech because in MS there are some pros and cons. In MS is Master of Science within bracket there is a research. In MS it is written that this is 2 years course, but there is another one very important aspect is the research paper publication. If you don't publish any research paper in international reputed journals, yeah, obviously if you do your MS in outside India or inside IITs, if you don't carry out the research paper publication during the MS, after 2 years, it may be 3 years or 3.5 years time may be needed for your the degree to be completed. And regarding MTech, and you clear the GATE exam, and you will definitely get your degree in 2 years. And there is no constraints for the research paper publication.
Okay, sir. Okay. One another question is, sir, can you discuss the area of like what is the role of Indian biologist in this COVID-19?
Yes, obviously.
Indian
See,
biotechnologists, how are they contributing in COVID-19
okay.
studies?
You are not you. All of us we know that the Serum Institute that is situated in Pune, they have already MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with Oxford University, and they are the first research-oriented organization who are bringing the COVID-19 vaccines in India. Within 1.5 months, we will get the COVID-19 vaccines from the Serum Institute. If you
Okay,
go
sir.
to the researcher profile, you will see more than 80% of the researchers they are from the India as well as they are the biotechnology. Because in the biotechnology, graduate, postgraduate, and starting from graduate to postgraduate, postgraduate to PhD, PhD to postdoc, you will be learned around 42 interdisciplinary subjects, starting from the virology to the immunology to the molecular biology to the biotechnology engineering. But at the end of the day, you should be one biotechnologist. Whenever you will be asked what you are at the end of the graduation or postgraduate, you have to tell the biotechnologist. They will never ask whether you are biologist or molecular biologist or immunologist or not. So in India, the Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech and Lupins and Biocom, they are joined a hand together for the vaccine development. I think this is a very promising field for the biotech researchers in this from India.
Okay, sir. And sir, there's one last question, and it is regarding the campusing that is for our college. Like, how is the campusing going to get affected, or like, is the companies still going to come in the next year? Or how many if the companies come in, then how good is the scope in the campusing field in the coming year, given this pandemic wave, how it has hit the industries?
Yes, yes, yes. Now the thing is that if you think professionally, the seventh semester, from the seventh semester onwards, the campusing is started, and the seventh semester is starting from the August, and at the transition of seventh semester, at the starting of eighth semester, and during this COVID-19 crisis in 2020, from January 2020 to March 2020, already 80% of the students of our department has been placed. Not our department, our college has been placed. after March 23rd, there is a lockdown period. So after March 23rd, the lockdown period, and this now this unlock 4, we are approaching the unlock 4. And I hope that within next year, January, the vaccine will be already in the market, and the regular campus interview will already be started. So there is nothing to worry. All the companies are ready to come to our college and recruit at the golden mine. And another one thing is that many companies, if you Google it, many companies have started the recruitment in the webinar form, and they are giving the opportunity to the graduates for the Skype interview, and they are directly approaching to the candidates, and candidates upload their CV and they are recruited. Maybe due to this COVID-19 crisis, there are 1 or 2 months left for the appointment letter, but it will be okay. After March, it will be okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much to the other speakers as well. It was lovely to have you this evening. Now, I would like our HOD ma'am to give us a vote of thanks. Ma'am? Upama ma'am, are you here?
Good evening. First,
Yes,
I would like to express my sincere thanks to the honorable speakers eminent in their field for their explanatory and lucid presentation. My thanks are also for all the viewers, including respected teachers, parents, and students who have managed their valuable time to join this webinar. The purpose of this webinar, as it is explained by previous speakers, is to make everybody aware of the importance of biotechnology as one of the best career options in the present day. I would like to specify or make one point clear that biotechnology is just not biology. It is the amalgamation of many high-end subjects which all have tremendous application in real life. Many have the wrong notion that biology and biotechnology, they are equivalent, but it is not true. This subject has immense potential and it is the best career option. As explained by Shubhashish, it is the joy of learning and job satisfaction which are equally important in one's life, and that can be met by studying biotechnology. I would like to conclude saying that it is not the ending, rather it is the initiation of the journey about the multiple domains of biotechnology that would be well described in our coming webinars. We will meet again. Till then, thank you, be safe and have a pleasant, safe time.
thank you so much, ma'am. With this, we come to the end of today's evening session. Thank you everyone for joining us and for enlightening us, all the fellow students, on such an insightful evening on how this line is so rich and there's so much, so scope and so much potential that this line withholds. Thank you again, once again, and we thus conclude the meeting.
Before we
Thank
end
you.
today's session, we would like to give a little token of love to all the speakers who have attended and shared their invaluable knowledge. So we would like to share the certificates of the speaker.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes.
First speaker of our today's webinar, Ms. Shumeda Chattopadhyay. Here is a certificate for your appreciation for joining us in our today's webinar. Second in the list is Dr. Shubham Chakraborty, who has shared his knowledge over his extended experience in biotechnology. Here is the certificate of appreciation.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And last but not the least, here is our third speaker, Dr. Shubhashish Datto, who has not only shared his knowledge in today's webinar, but has also been one of our teachers in our department and has been teaching the current biotechnology students. Here is the certificate of appreciation to Dr. Shubhashish Dutta.
Thank you very much.
Thanks from my part too.
So by this, we would like to conclude today's webinar. Hope everybody stays home and stays safe.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
This is Shubhashi Datta from HIT Haldia. I am very much thankful to the organizers, especially my student Devanko, Devraj, Eshna, continuously supporting and taking care of the YouTube Live and Google Meet. Very much thankful to the students without whom this webinar was not so much successful. Thank you to you also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Now I'm leaving the meeting. Thank
Okay, sir. Thank you. Have a good night, sir. Have a good night, ma'am.
Thank you. Good night.